Hello, and welcome to our Super PAC extravaganza. We're going to tell you everything you need to know about Super PACs and more, so strap your seatbelts on and get ready for our special Super PAC episode. Stay tuned. Everyone knows that Citizens United, a revolutionary Supreme Court decision, decided 5-4 that campaign spending was in fact political speech. Since then, Super PAC spending has actually skyrocketed. This is especially evident in the Romney campaign, where the campaign itself, centered around Romney, has only spent $462,000. However, Super PACs supporting Romney have their donations of the Super PACs have totaled a whopping $17 million. That's right. Lots of money there. This is also an example of the massive imbalance that has formed.
That's absolutely right. In fact, a recent study done by the Washington Post found that conservative Super PACs are actually outspending liberal Super PACs by a factor of 4 to 1.
Drop in knowledge.
Now, to get a little perspective on the issue, let's go to our infield correspondent, Alex Lee, who interviews a very concerned citizen.
Excuse me, sir. Would you be willing to answer some questions about Super PACs?
Why, sure.
How do you feel about the Citizens United case, which allows corporations and labor unions to donate unlimited amounts of money to Super PACs?
I find it to be unfair because I, as a working class citizen, do not possess the same amount of money as the corporations or the billionaires and millionaires who are donating a fair amount. Therefore, I won't be able to influence the campaigns or really make any influence at all. They basically take away all my say.
We need the funk. We're off the funk. Ow.
7 out of 10 donors are in fact billionaires and not corporations. Also, in April, over 77% of all Super PAC donations were over $100,000. What do you think is the effect of these patterns of spending?
Well, first, with 77% being over $100,000, that's just crazy because I can't pay that as a working class citizen, and neither can anybody where I work or like anybody in my neighborhood. And second, about the, how many was it? 7 out of 10 of the base donators? Well, for example, Newt Gingrich, almost all the money he got is from one single guy who donated $5 million. And that's just crazy because he's just basically trying to play a kingmaker and give the most money to the guy he thinks should be president.
How do you feel that Super PACs mostly run negative ads as independent expenditures instead of using positive ads for their own campaign?
I find it to be quite silly because I don't really know what any of the candidates think, like what they care about. All I'm hearing is about how Obama is a Muslim or how Mitt Romney is anti-homosexual and all that. It's just dumb at this
Right.
Despite having previously denounced Super PACs, Obama has announced that he will be accepting Super PAC donations for the upcoming election. What are your thoughts on this?
I think it makes perfect sense, seeing as most of the Republican conservative Super PACs have been donating large amounts of money have been actually supplying large amounts of money to the campaign. It's really, Obama's figured it out that it's either he's going to adapt and get a Super PAC or lose the race because he won't have enough money to fund his campaign.
Pancakes.
Do you have any final thoughts on this issue?
Well, I have two. First, I think that the FEC should start trying a little bit harder to enforce their rules because it's clear that the campaigns and the Super PACs are working together. Like, for example, Mitt Romney, where his closest campaign advisors run his Super PAC. Second, I think that the Super PACs make it too easy for the 1% who are like the richest people in America to have so much more say than I do when I make up 99% and I'm the working class. And I should get a say because it affects me more than it'll affect them.
Well, there you have it. Straight from the mean streets of North Potomac. Lucky Alex Lee here got back okay. Anyway, moving on with the program. Super PAC spending actually, in terms of individual candidate donations, can only total a maximum of up to $5,000. However, most Super PACs don't even choose to utilize that much of their maximum spending, instead spending only a few $100s.
Instead, Super PACs spend the majority of their money as independent expenditures, especially in advertising. Man, all that information packs my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, see what I did there, guys?
If I were a superhero, I would be Super PAC.
Several conservative super PACs, including American Crossroads GPS, are using a massive amount of their money for negative advertising. In fact, it has a 100% negative advertising skew.
Well, that's a whopping total.
It
Continue.
is. In contrast, the Democratic National Committee has spent over 99% of their $6.3 million on positive advertising.
The issues addressed in Super PAC advertising run the political gamut, including, in descending order of spending, at $76 million, the budget and the government spending, then anti-Obama messages, jobs, taxes, and finally, the lowest at $38 million, the energy and the environment. Additionally, the same few figures involved in Super PAC spending account for a vast majority of the total. In fact, 84 donors account for 2/3, 66%, of Super PAC donations in the entire 2012 election cycle.
Super PAC spending also gives a colossal advantage to incumbents, since incumbents receive the majority of Super PAC spending.
This is in addition to the several advantages already afforded to incumbents. Alex Lee, what are some of those advantages?
Well, for example, you have Frank's Mail, which allows incumbents to send postage for free to their constituents.
It's a pretty powerful advantage.
It is. The second advantage that incumbents have is name recognition. This means that their constituents are already familiar with them and therefore trust them to resolve their issues.
Alex Lee, do you know what the third advantage affording to incumbents is?
Why Bennington Cumberbatch? I don't. Would you care to explain it?
I would. See, during their time in office, as they are lawmakers, often incumbents are able to pass laws that their constituents are aware of and are affected by. Thus, these incumbents can claim responsibility for things that have benefited their constituents in a way that a new candidate who is not an incumbent cannot. Well, I believe that's all the information we have about Super PACs at this time. For the bulletins as events warrant, as they will certainly play a huge part in this campaign and election going forward. Signing off, I'm Bennington Cumberbatch.
I'm Sparky McNuggetson.
And this has been a special Super PAC extravaganza. Stay classy, North Potomac.